starts with two. A simple step, a shared journey, and as others walk beside us, we grow in strength, in hope, in community, side by side, in community.
Mark 4, verse 38. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care that we are perishing?" Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Side by Side in Community. I'm Pastor TJ McCabe, and this month we've been talking about rest and rhythm and renewal. Today, I want to remind you of something that might surprise you. Jesus took naps. And that's not a metaphor. That's not a figure of speech. Literally, in Mark chapter 4, Jesus and the disciples are crossing the sea. A storm breaks out. The waves are crashing. The boat is rocking. And Jesus is in the stern of the boat, asleep on a cushion. Now the disciples come running in. They wake him in a panic. "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" And Jesus stands, speaks peace to the wind and to the waves. But the part that always gets me is this: Jesus was asleep. In the midst of chaos, in the midst of the storm, Jesus naps. Now, I don't know about you, but that's oddly comforting. Because if the Savior of the world can sleep through a storm, then maybe I don't have to hold the world together in every moment either. Sometimes we treat rest as if it's a weakness. But Jesus shows us that rest is trust. He trusted his Father enough to sleep even when others panicked. He knew that storms don't scare God, and when we rest, truly rest, we're making that same declaration that God is in control. That God, I don't have to fix everything before I lie down. I can breathe because you are still in control. And as difficult as it might seem, sometimes the storm isn't outside us, but it's inside of us. It's worry and it's stress and it's grief. You can be lying down, ready to go to sleep, and yet still somehow be wide awake with our minds racing and our hearts pounding. And that's where Jesus invites us. Not just to stop working, but to stop worrying. To stop spiraling, to trust him with the storm and the silence. Sometimes the most spiritual thing that we can do is to take a nap, to close our eyes, hand our burdens off to God for a few sacred moments, and know that even while you rest, God does not sleep or slumber. Psalm 121 says, "He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." That happens so that you and I can take a break when needed. So this week, I want to ask, where do you need rest? Not just for your body, but for your soul. Can you trust God enough to stop doing? Can you release what's not yours to carry? Maybe your storm is real. Maybe your storm is emotional, but Jesus is still in your boat, and Jesus is not panicked. So go ahead, take a breath, take a nap, and trust that while you rest, God is still at work. I will see you next week. Let's keep walking side by side in community together.